The Miami skyline shimmered in the distance, neon reflections rippling across the dark water. We were out on Josh's fishing yacht, 6 of us, just kicking back. Music low, the scent of salt and gasoline in the warm air. It was supposed to be a chill night, just a few drinks, some laughs, and the ocean breeze. But then we noticed them. A small speedboat, no lights, keeping its distance. At first we thought they were just passing through, but when we drifted further out, so did they. Closer, watching. Josh, always the cautious one, killed the music. The mood shifted. My heart started thudding, and I could tell the others felt it too. The speedboat revved up and came alongside. 2 men, rough-looking, dressed dark. One had something in his hand. A knife? A gun? Hard to tell in the dim light. "Nice boat," one of them called out, grinning. "Mind if we come aboard?" Josh didn't even hesitate. "Yeah, we do. Keep moving." But they didn't. The guy in the front leaped onto our deck before we could react. The second reached for something under his jacket. Maybe a weapon, maybe worse. Instinct kicked in. I grabbed the closest thing, an empty beer bottle, and shattered it over the first guy's arm as Josh shoved him back toward the rail. The girl screamed. The second guy hesitated, eyes darting between us and his buddy, now cursing on the floor. That hesitation was enough. Josh punched him square in the jaw, and I kicked his legs out from under him. The first guy scrambled back onto their boat, bleeding and swearing. The second wasn't far behind. Josh fired up the yacht's engines, and we peeled off, leaving them bobbing in our wake. For a few minutes, nobody spoke. Just deep breaths, pounding hearts. Then one of the girls let out a shaky laugh. "Guess that's enough excitement for one night." Josh just shook his head. "Miami, man. The skyline never looked so damn good." The drowned man. It was supposed to be a simple late-night cruise. Just me, Jake, and Olivia, drifting off the Florida coast under the full moon. The water was eerily still. The only sounds were the waves lapping against the hull and the occasional call of a distant gull. Then we saw him, a man floating face down in the water. At first we thought it was a body, but when we got closer he moved, slowly, unnaturally, his limbs twitching just beneath the surface. His clothes were tattered, waterlogged. Olivia gasped. "We need to help him," Jake said, leaning over the railing. But something about the way the man drifted, almost too still, sent a chill up my spine. "Don't. Too late," Jake called out. The man's head snapped up violently. His eyes were wide, glowing pale in the moonlight. His mouth open, but no sound came out. Just a deep, guttural gurgle. And then he lunged. He gripped the side of the boat, his fingers unnaturally long, his skin wrinkled like he'd been underwater for years. Jake stumbled back as the thing started pulling itself up. Olivia screamed. I grabbed an oar and swung with everything I had. It connected, but the man didn't react. He just stared at me. Then, in a flash, he let go and sank beneath the surface without a trace. We waited. The water went still. No ripples. No sign he was ever there. Jake panted, clutching his chest. "We're going back, now." I took the wheel, gunning it towards shore. But as we sped off, I couldn't shake the feeling that we had seen something that wasn't supposed to be seen. And I swear, out of the corner of my eye, just beyond the wake of our boat, I saw his face again. Watching. 3. The boat with no name. Jason had rented an old fishing boat from a guy at the marina, dirt cheap, no questions asked. The name on the hull had been scratched off, but we didn't care. It was just a quick night ride. Me, Jason, and Mia. The problem started almost immediately. The radio cut out, giving nothing but static. Our GPS flickered before shutting off completely. Then the compass started spinning wildly, like it couldn't figure out where we were. Mia laughed nervously. "Okay, this is creepy." Jason shrugged. "Old boat. Probably nothing." Then came the whispering. It was faint at first, barely noticeable over the sound of the waves. But it got louder, surrounding us, circling like the wind itself carried voices. I turned to Jason. "Tell me you hear that." He nodded slowly. So did Mia. Then, the boat lurched. Hard, like something had grabbed it from below. Jason scrambled to the wheel, trying to restart the stalled engine. I grabbed a flashlight and pointed it at the water. Something moved. Something between, just beneath the surface. A shadow. A shape that didn't make sense. It was like the water was darker there, swirling. Then fingers, long clawed, gripped the side of the boat. Mia screamed. Jason yanked the cord on the engine over and over. The boat dipped, like it was being pulled under. I swung at the hands with a rope hook, and they vanished into the blackness. The engine roared to life. Jason didn't waste a second. He gunned it back to shore, faster than we'd ever gone before. When we finally made it back to the dock, we sat there in silence, breathing hard. Jason pulled out his phone, looking up the boat's registration. No records, no history, nothing. Like it had never existed. Error 4. We were deep-sea fishing, me, Logan, and Sarah. Miles from the coast, the water was black, the sky overcast, moon hidden behind thick clouds. That's when we saw the lighthouse. It wasn't on the map, wasn't supposed to be there. But there it was, standing tall on a rocky outcrop that shouldn't exist, its beams slicing through the darkness. Sarah frowned. We should check it out. I wasn't so sure, but Logan steered us toward it anyway. As we got closer, the details of the lighthouse came into view. Rusted metal, crumbling stone, windows shattered. It looked abandoned. Then the light turned off. And that's when we heard it. The sound of something large, dragging across the rocks. A low guttural moan echoed across the water. I grabbed my flashlight and shined it toward the base of the lighthouse. A figure stood there, tall, gaunt, its limbs too long, its eyes glowing dimly. It moved. But not like a person. It jerked me forward, as if it were struggling against something invisible, its head tilting too far to the side. Then the lighthouse light flickered back on, and the figure was aware right at the water's edge. We didn't stick around. Logan cranked the throttle and we tore away from that place, waves crashing against the hull. When we looked back, the lighthouse was gone. No rocks, no land, just empty, endless water.